The Macedonians are most famous for their, Alexander the Great and his conquest of the known world, going from Macedon through the Middle East, reaching even India. And in Rome too, obviously this takes a few years after Macedon's empire. It's obviously collapsed into Macedon, Bactria, Seleucid, and Egypt. All the four, well, splinter kingdoms of Alexander's legacy. Macedon still remains a force to be reckoned with in the game. Now, unfortunately, due to multiple siege rules, you cannot be your own Alexander the Great with all these pikes. Sure, in land battles you probably can, but in sieges, you're limited to 2 pikes. I know Macedon without pikes is like the Mongols without horse archers. Macedon is not a faction that excels compared in anything particular. They're very good all-rounder. They do everything well, except for maybe cavalry, where they actually do quite excel. They have a lot of variation of units and amazingly variable and large and elite. Even though they're very good skirmish roster, is what I'm trying to say here. They've got really good survivability. Their melee infantry is just really 4-axe swordsmen for Eos, so it's a bit weaker on average compared to what can be brought to the field. In terms of elite, they've got 3, one of which is an elite pike, which you should never bring. They got very risky Repeltis in there, and they got shield bearers, which are just marching up ahead in that nice bronze armor. Their cavalry is very, very good. They're companions of Thessalians. They do lack horse archers, however. And another weakness is the complete lack of good low tiers, or really cheap low tiers. The only one being militia hoplites. They do have a nice mix with the Thracian warriors mercenary for 500, though they do cost 80 more than the original from Odyssean Kingdom. And that's it. I'm gonna go organize them, and we're gonna go meet them individually. Okay, so since they have an incredibly large roster, I've had to group some of these together, which you'll find out later in the video. But kicking it off with the militia hoplites, a very tanky low tier. It's good at holding a position. It's got armor. It's got the hoplite wall, which I will show you its stats in hoplite wall now. It's got really poor attack. 300 is your only low tier option. I'd imagine you bring like 2 of these at max because they're not brilliant. I will put this disclaimer out because I have forgotten this in previous videos. Hoplite wall has a hidden 5 bonus versus infantry. Just wanted to put that out there. But in hoplite wall, as you can see, I've got 57 melee defense, the same as a 4-axe sword. They're not awful as a unit, but they're certainly better low tier options from other factions like Celtic Warriors and Hastati. But yeah, they're gonna possibly bring 1 or 2 of these guys. Yeah, we'll do Freya Spears. Covered before. 5 volleys of 29 damage. Javelins, square, good charge bonus. Not the best survivability, it's actually quite low. Not best weapon, okay morale. Only for 560 though, a cost-effective unit that can find its place in almost every army. You're gonna bring a few of these guys probably, especially against Dumpo factions like ODK and Lusitani. They pair very nicely with the 4-axe holding the front line because they're a solid unit. And, yeah, Freya Spears. I like them, but once they're out of javelins, they can struggle in melee compared to some other units. Shock infantry option for a Hellenic faction is often a rarity, and in this case, it's still a rarity, but it's actually an option, unlike factions such as Epirus and Sparta and Seleucid and Bactria, all lacking shock infantry options. These guys do not. Most of the Thracian warriors are the same as the regular Thracian warriors from Odyssean Kingdom, except they cost 80 more, costing 500 apiece. 15 AP, 36 charge. These guys will decimate anything on the charge, however, they will be mowed down by any missile really quickly, and in prolonged combat they're going to suffer. And they do have a hidden bonus versus large. So, if you want to have some fun with them, 1 or 2 of them, it's a semi-big investment, though they can get that return very, very quickly in the right situations. Regular hoplites, due to their lack of elite spear, not worth it. got over several times. Pretty good melee defense and survivability. Offensive stats. Defensively, they're just awful. Don't bring them. 4x ultimate. Basically, the mid tiers compare everything to. Okay attack. Good survivability. Mid charge bonus and okay defense. 7-10, you're going to bring as many of these guys as you can. 7 or 8, typically. Because they are they are a good unit. But they don't excel in compared to other units like Sword Followers, Glacial Legionnaires, Chosen Sword Band. But they're not as bad as like a Pontic Sword or a Parthian Sword, so... You know, the bog standard mid tier, they'll serve you well. And there's not really a situation where they don't do well in, unless they're completely outmatched. I want to cover all the pikes at once, because there's a lot of them. Overall, as Macedon, the only one I recommend bringing is the regular pikeman, like most factions. Just because they have that... Like, if you want to bring a pikeman for not a huge investment, 1 or 2 of them, you can, though it's once again risky because they are pikemen, and people most likely have ammo left for them. So if you want to bring a pike, bring regulars. For companions, they're bring elite pikes, because you're putting 1200 into a pike unit that isn't actually that survivable. It's only got 70 armor and 60 health. It's really not. Less survivable than a 4x. Levy pikemen, too squishy, even though they do cost 450. You can try them, though in my experience they're too squishy. And 4x pikemen, for 140 more, you are investing to get that little bit extra survivability morale. But even then, they cost more than a 4x, so it's even more riskier. Though you can if you wanted. They're 2 elites, Shield Bearers and the Royal Peltasts. Shield Bearers coming at 1160. If they're the elite spear, they'd be the second best top lane in the game. But since they don't, they're only really good against factions like ODK to cancel out their huge charge bonus with the expert charge defense they have. Really good survivability, really good morale, good stats all around, just lacking that elite spear, which would make them so good. There's Royal Peltasts, a riskier elite to bring due to having only 60 health. They've used the whip, and they have shield wall. Just make sure you refresh it after you use the whip, because it will make them exhausted. 6 AP weapon, exceptional attack, mid-charge bonus, low melee defense, and really high morale. For 1280, they're a very solid option. They're one of your general options, like the Shield Bearers and the Companion Cav. So, I'd recommend bringing one of these guys almost always, though it might prove more versatile to bring the Companion Cavalry. Over there. Okay, moving on to the missiles. I've sort of grouped these guys together as well, because there's a lot of them. Kicking it off with the basic ones, Slingers, Archers, and Javelinmen. All your cost-effective, low-tier missiles that you don't typically bring many of or often. I mean, you would bring in some you'd have regular Archers more often than the regular Slingers or Javelinmen. You won't see them because Macedon have way better elite options, and it's almost always better to get the elite missile. They're not always. So they're all viable, but they'll all do their job. They're really cheap. 220 Javelinmen, 250 Archers, 270 Slingers, but don't expect any miracles from them. Their 2 most elite skirmishers are the Mercenary Rhodian Slingers and the Merc Cretan Archers. Merc Cretan Archers, one of the top 3 archers in GC, and Merc Rhodian, the best slinger, stats-wise. Better than the Balearic, which is 5 more HP. Both of these guys will make up the core of your skirmishing roster. Mercenary Cretans better at archer fighting than Syrians, though they are worse at dumping due to lack of precision shot. You're almost always going to bring 3 Cretans and a Rhodian, though some maps you might go 2 and 2, and if you have a +1 rule, you have a wide selection of Peltasts in the back there you can choose from. So, always bring one of these Cretans, always bring a Rhodian, almost always. It depends what you try to do. But, here you are. Take them. In terms of their Peltast options, you have 4. The Agrian Axemen, Mercenary Thracian Peltasts, Regular Peltasts, and the Light Peltasts. Coming in at 500, 480, 420, and 460 respectively. Sorry. Light Peltasts, not covered in a while. They sacrifice the armor of the Regular Peltasts for 3 more volleys of ammo. For also 40 more. I'd always bring Light Peltasts over the Regular Peltasts. Not a bad unit, the Regular Peltasts, but they're just outshined by everything. So, Light Peltast is one of my options here. Now, the opposing side has poor missiles. You can take the Thracian Peltasts. You get higher damage Javies, better combat capabilities due to having 10 more AP. 3 less volleys of ammunition, though you do have a more damaging one. And yeah, 480, they also cost 20 more. They're capped at 3, like the Rhodians and the Koreans. Very good option if you want to get that high damage out really quickly, just that quick reload. Though, against factions with good missiles or can field a lot of Phareos like Pontus, I wouldn't recommend taking them. They're too risky to bring with the low armor and HP. Agrionian Axeman, a favourite of many I know, coming at 500 with only 7 ammunition and 32 damage, though higher mass, 10 AP in melee, and pretty good combat stats, including a whopping 27 charge bonus. Honestly, I've seen Macedon comes with like 3 Cretans and 2 Agrianians using the +1 rule. They're a very, very good unit. They're also the most expensive peltist you can bring. There's a very unique one. They're an axe peltist, so if you're trying to bring peltist with the most combat capabilities, Agrianian, damage, Thracian, and if you want more javelins, like peltists. There's a cavalry. I'm going to kick off the Jav Cav. You got 3 options: the Skirmisher, Thracian, and Tarentine. Tarentine, not a bad cavalry unit, though none of these really you bring, except maybe the Thracian. This is the most expensive, kind of 560. The Thracian Cav, oh, I forgot what these are. I think they're 450 or something around that. Though they are light and they have 32 damage. Okay, melee stats, so they are light. They're going to be. It's going to be like running into a lamppost if you just charge. Even if you charge like a cataphract and they don't charge back, it's going to be like running into a lamppost. It's not going to work. And Skirmisher Cav don't bring because whilst they're cheap at 340, they have the poor javelin. They can't do anything after. The Thracian at least has some melee stats behind it. But anti-cav options, you certainly have plenty. Companion Cav, arguably the most cost-effective shot cav in the game. Excellent charge, excellent survivability, morale, and offensive stats. 1300, the most common gen option, due to just being so good. I'd always recommend one of them, because they go toe-to-toe with cataphracts, camels, you name it. They can go toe-to-toe with them, except maybe the royal cataphracts. Thessalians, once again, one of the most cost-effective cav units. For 740, you can bring 2 of these instead of a companion if you want. They are low armor, unshielded, so they're not that survivable. They got really good charge runners, they're heavy, really good morale, good offensive stats. They can do a lot of damage on that charge. So, if you think of Masaesyli, 2 of them and a companion, it's probably the limits for I'd go, unless you're really facing like a Cyberpathia defense. Sarissa Cav for 400, light, good charge bonus. I don't like them, I've seen some people use them, though they are a rarity. They've got 10 armor, no shield, so that you breathe on them and they die, as survivable as the Bow Horseman from Getae. Though the charge bonus might make it so they are useful, due to making their attack like 85 or something on the charge is insane. They have 2 melee cav options, the Citizen Cav and the Aspis. Citizen Cav, don't bring. I won't even bother. Like, they're survivable. They don't do anything. They're survivable, and that's about it. As the name implies, they are the melee version of the companion cavalry. They're like a royal peltist and horseback, still the way you look at them. They have an interesting weapon, as you can see here, with 6 AP, 40 charge bonus, lowish defense, but it's expected for cav, really good survivability, really good morale, and exceptional offensive stats, and 2 volleys of javelins on horseback, coming at 1300, the same price as the companion cav. They will also serve you very well. They can go toe-to-toe with infantry in a prolonged fight, which is a rarity for cavalry in general. Yeah. That's Macedon. I have somewhat generalized some of their units, as some of them aren't worth talking that much about, such as some of their pikes over here, and some of their missiles, or cavalry for that matter. Some of them are lackluster, some of them are really good. Macedon can do everything for you, but be aware there are factions that specialize in things that can outdo it. Examples include Cimmeria with Cimmerian heavy archers. There's a Hoplite, Sparta, in terms of infantry, the Celtic factions. So just be aware, you can be outclassed. So, that's it, and next time is Masaesyli, a very interesting faction. Desert Rome.